Welcome back to Theme Journals. I'm April. This morning I have happy mail to share with you. I didn't know this, but my aunt had a stash and she de-stashed and she gave her stash to me. So thank you, Aunt Mary. So this is Southwest paper for Father's Day, but it's in the Southwest theme, so I can use this for cut out this part of it and then just use these parts for what do you call it, my Southwest theme. And this would make fine pockets for a little girl's journal and beautiful flowers. So this is wrapping paper, vintage wrapping paper. Let me make sure you can see what I've got. All right, you can't see it very well, so okay, hang on. All right, there, I think you see that better now. Let me double check. Okay, all right, so just in case you didn't see, oh, I love this vintage paper, and then Southwest paper. All right, so that's wrapping paper. Then she gave me some vintage postcards, vintage cards. This is a card as a decoration, an abstract of a Southwest painting, and a vintage season's greetings card. So that's interesting. Then I have a little dream catcher, which I can use on the back of a Southwest journal. I got a picture of a battle or something. Now these are vintage iron-ons, and what you did was you ironed these off of the paper onto a piece of cloth, and then you took paint and you painted these. So yeah, that's fantastic. I love these. I'll be hoarding these. Someone maybe, I don't know who drew that, but that's amazing. Love that. Then I got little vintage cards. They used to wrap up the, this used to be the stationery. They'd write it, fold it, and then to, from, and the stamp. I used to use those all the time when I was a child. This is my first seed envelope. And the amazing thing is now I'm going to start saving these. I told my mom, save these for me so I can use them in my gardening journal. So we'll see how many I get. And this is a vintage Christmas card that my aunt got from some of her friends. So I don't know how old it is, but I know it's vintage. I haven't seen those in years. And another amazing thing is she had vintage tissue paper, Christmas vintage tissue paper. I haven't seen this type of tissue paper in years. Vintage friendship card, birthday message. Then little Christmas ornaments. Thank you. And then more vintage Christmas paper. And then Father's Day card, perhaps for my grandfather. Cards that my grandfather wasn't able to give to my grandmother because she passed. Vintage Easter paper. I mean, look at the price, $1.75. Paper hasn't been that cheap in years. I have a little, I don't know, a little clip with an R on it. And then this used to be a drawing with drawing paper inside, but now it's just the vintage paper from the outside. I'm so excited about this. So let me put the little R on the side. Now, let me tell you, this is the ultimate vintage Christmas paper. How beautiful is that? I have not seen Christmas paper like that in years. Now, these are little doilies my grandmother, my grandmother crocheted or knitted or whatever. This is a half started one, never finished. Again, another one that my grandmother started but never finished. Looks like my grandmother had great plans for the doily, but she never got around to finishing it, bless her heart. So yeah, I got a lot of vintage handmade designs and vintage paper, and I'm so excited about it. Thank you, Aunt Mary. Not quite sure what that was supposed to be, but I'm sure my grandmother had grand designs for that, and then some vintage lace. Now, that's all the paper and the vintage items, well, that is given to me. I have one thing on loan, and it's a family photo album. And it is old. It's been in my family for hundreds of years. And you'll be shocked by who you see in the family album. Now, what I want to do is, and the reason why this is on loan is I'm going to scan all the pictures into my computer, and then I'm going to use them, print them out as digitals and sell them as digitals. You'll be like, oh, that's creepy, but all these people have been dead for hundreds of years. The copyright on all these photos are gone. So these are my ancestors. And then vintage, a lot of vintage photos of people that no one knows. Then, I mean, just look at the clasp on that. Isn't that beautiful? And then these will make great vintage portraits to use it on digital. So if you have old family photo albums like this, then you can do the same. You can scan them into your computer, and it'll be amazing. So that's what I'm going to do with this. And then I'm going to give the photo album back to my aunt, because I promised I would borrow it and return it. But these are just fantastic pictures of my ancestors. Let me see if I can not bonk you guys. Never-ending story with me. I guess they didn't really believe in putting all the photos in one direction. So you can see all the beautiful gowns they used to wear. And the reason why none of them are smiling is because you had to sit for the exposure hours and hours. And in fact, so people could stay still, they used to have contraptions around their necks of children to keep them from fidgeting in the picture. And so no one was very happy about that, I can promise you. So they used to take detailed pictures of funerals as well. How cute is this little guy or girl? You can't tell when they're that age if they're boys or girls, because the christening gowns looked all, the same family would use the same christening gown for all the babies, girls or boys. But look how pretty she is. So these will come out in digitals eventually, and I will sell them, you know, as digitals on my Etsy. But these are great old photos. I adore these. And to get colored photos, they used to paint them after paint the negative. And depending on how much money you had, you could be fortunate enough to be able to have a colored photograph. This lady and this lady look to be the same ladies. And yes, my grandmother knew who all these were, and she wrote them all out painstakingly, so successive generations would know. But I'm not going to bore you with, you know, who they are. Oops. All right. Let's see. Make sure that you can see that one. Now, do you recognize him? There used to be another man here that my father decided he wanted to borrow the photograph and never return. But this is Benjamin Franklin, and right here we had a picture of George Washington. So anyway, this is a picture that my grandmother put here instead. I'm sure she forgot who she loaned it to, and I'm going to see if I can't get that picture back from my father. So he has no right to it. It was loaned to him. So, yeah. Very elegant dress, you know. Dress, you know, the way they dressed back then is just very elegant, and of course we call it vintage today. But look at these dresses. Aren't they fantastic? I mean, these ladies are wearing black, so that means they probably lost their husbands, but yeah. Very pretty. So lots of vintage photos, you know, of my ancestors that I'm going to scan into the computer, and then I'll do them up as digitals, and they'll be absolutely amazing. And then you can use them in your journals. But look how, you know, just amazing these children look. Oh, fantastic. And then a very old, faded photograph that people started doing their own photos. And this is one of those, you know, it's a little blurry because the kid moved. So even when people started doing their own photos, the kids could not move. But they did. Obviously. And then lots of christenings. Well, since this is out, let's put it in the right direction. Yeah, this is an old album. Oops. This is probably a school picture. And that's probably the school up there. More family photos. I mean, look at how thick this card is. And they used to write on the back who they were. The photographer would put a beautiful piece of artwork on the back. And this is thick. So let me show you the, I guess I need to put it this way. Now, one of these ladies grew up to be my great-great-grandmother. No, great-great-great-grandmother. I don't know which one, but she was a twin, and I do know that it's either her or her. Not too sure which one. I have to read through my granny's notes, my Granny Boots' notes. She says this lady's name is Elther. I don't know. There's another lady's name at the top. Maybe this picture at one time belonged to Mrs. Elizabeth Cooper, which is one of my ancestors. Then there's her address in Pennsylvania. I think this is Ethel. And then this is the artist who took the picture and probably framed it at one time. But yeah, my grandmother has detailed notes on who everybody is in here. What dates they were taken. And she has 2 sets of notes, so I'm not exactly sure which. I think the front end is the notes on the pictures. Let me see if I can figure out which one is my great-grandmother at the end. Great-great-grandmother, pardon me. See the no, I don't see the name Ethel on this list, so I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to really read through my grandmother's. Mary and Ethel. Let's see. My Granny Boots was obsessed with Mary and Ethel, the twins. So I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, that is the prized possession that this is one of my family's, antique photo albums. I have the other one, and I've already turned it into digitals. Oh boy, this fabric is so old. Have to be, yeah. As you can see, everything's falling apart in here, but no, it's vintage. So this is on loan from my aunt, and I mean, just look at this clasp. Isn't that just beautiful? And look at this vintage mirror and this vintage metalwork on the back. So I hope you enjoyed the tour through the album of my ancestors and family friends. These will eventually be, like I said, taken out and redone. Maybe I can fix this spine. This poor spine has seen better days, and I can just do a quick repair for my aunt on that. All right, you guys, this is my Happy Mail video. I hope you enjoyed, and you'll put it in the back of your mind that once I premiere my Etsy shop soon, that these photos will be in there for digital download. All right. Well, you have a lovely day, and I'll talk to you all later. Oh, yes. Remember to please like, share, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so that when I make new content, you can be notified. This is the home of themed journals. Thanks. Bye.